the new documentary is taking us back to the 1980s when teen idols ruled the roost.
Yeah, they were known as the Brat Pack, and Carl caught up with former member and the director of BRATS, Andrew McCarthy.
St Elmo's Fire, Pretty in Pink, The Breakfast Club. The list of 80s movies that defined a generation is endless. And they all feature one key thing, the Brat Pack. Rob Lowe, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Demi Moore, Andrew McCarthy, Ali Sheedy, Emilio Estevez. Their influence on teens was immense, but not all of them loved the nickname. BRATS sees the original pack back together 40 years on, thanks to former member and director Andrew McCarthy.
If you were coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different.
I've read your book and also read Rob Lowe's, and just navigating any kind of comeback out of that title had its difficulties for him and for some of you, didn't it?
To me, the bigger theme of the movie, besides just being about the Brat Pack, which is great and a great nostalgia role, was the notion of how we relate to our past over time, you know? It was something I hated when I was young, and now I look at it as like the greatest professional blessing of my life. How did that journey happen? Usually not interested in talking about the Brat Pack.
Why did we take it as an offense as opposed to like
brats?
Because we were young.
We were afraid we were brats, you know.
God, I remember taking my first date to one of these films and a third date to another one. I mean, this was it. I mean, you guys were it in the 80s, and they were just such fabulous, wonderful films to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they really defined a generation, didn't they? I mean, they really captured it. People took their first dates, they fell in love, they had their first kiss watching these movies, you know?
Yeah.
And all these years, I've had people coming up to me on the street and telling me that. And, you know, I and the other members of the Brat Pack are kind of like the avatars of youth for a certain generation.
Yeah, that's
look
right.
at, you know, and their eyes glaze over and they start talking about the Brat Pack, and I realize they're talking about themselves and their own youth and their own coming of age, and I just represent that. It took me a long time to realize what a blessing that is. Because early on, the Brat Pack, we really didn't like the term. We hated the term when it first was coined back in the 80s. So just sort of the internal journey from going from hating this thing to sort of embracing it and feeling like it's probably my greatest professional gift is kind of an amazing journey to take.
Well, it's not just infatuation, Kevin. She's not just a girl. She's the only evidence of God that I can find on this entire planet.
Where did you meet Wendy again?
Prison.
Hi, Felicia, how you doing? Me? Oh, you know, it ain't easy being me.
St Elmo's Fire, I thought, was a standout too. You know, just the different layers of that film were incredible.
Some of the things those Brat Pack movies did is that they put friendship at the center. You know, before that, movies were sort of romantic. You know, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets a girl again. But those movies, like Breakfast Club, really just put friendship at the center. And young people, I think, really, you know, grabbed onto that.
When you look back, what's the time capsule movie for you? What's the one that you most appreciate now?
You know, I've grown to kind of really love all of them in their own way. Like you mentioned Mannequin, I find Mannequin, I'm really fond of Mannequin and sort of gentleness. I love St. Elmo's Fire in the sense that was a perfect part for me at that time in my life. You know, I had that same kind of cynical, rotten before it's right veneer covering an internal life of fragility and insecurity, and that was sort of me at that time. And so I have a special fondness for that part.
Being the Brat Pack not only changed all of our lives, it changed what entertainment is. I mean, I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything.
Well, we didn't sell Shea Stadium.
We could have. 1985? I think we could have.
How good.
It looks good, doesn't it?
It does. Brats is streaming now on Disney+.